What's going on, MLB The Show fans? Or, maybe not fans, but people that buy it every year just to complain about it. Hey, not a personal attack. I'm in the same camp as you. Because I just want it to be great, like the good old days, like MLB 11 or even 16. Maybe one day we'll get back to that pure level of baseball simulation. But one question has been on a lot of people's minds lately. What is going on with MLB The Show 22? The same question I pondered at a similar time in November last year about MLB The Show 21. Where is the news, Ramon? STS? Coach? Gonna put Coach in a full Nelson unless he releases some goddamn news at a time before February where it was last year. That's kind of where we're at regarding MLB The Show 22, because there's a lot of questions. Of course, this game, MLB 21, was hot and cold, mixed feelings by the player base, as you'll see by these Metacritic ratings, which, again, don't treat this as gospel. I'm not really a fan of Metacritic. It's so easy to review bomb things. MLB The Show 21 is reportedly a 4.1 user score on the PlayStation 5. It isn't a 4 out of 10. It's just not. It isn't a 10 out of 10 by any means. It isn't a 9 out of 10, but it's not a 4 out of 10. And then you see the drawn comparisons with MLB The Show 20 based on that, at least. And from the general consensus I've heard of you guys, subscribers on Twitter, MLB The Show 20 was a bit better received for a few reasons. Biggest of which being the servers. I can't really put into words how frustrating it is to have a AAA game, this made by Sony, that still has as bad of online connection as it does. I was just playing a game the other day. Finest came out, and wouldn't you know it, I'm trying to use these cards, and I hit a ground ball to second base and the game freezes. This is not a one-off instance. This is quite common for ground balls to second base to just fucking implode the game and make it stop, stand still, freezing time like Charles Xavier. Absolutely ridiculous, and it's all because MLB The Show does not have the reliance of dedicated servers, which is interesting despite the fact that as of the most recent game sale update, before Call of Duty, before Battlefield and whatnot has been released, MLB The Show 21 stood at number 3 on the list of best-selling games throughout the year of 2021. That's not including the fact that it was free on Xbox Game Pass, and also the flurry of microtransactions that they're getting from people putting additional money into the game. So there's not really an excuse at this point if we don't have better servers to just allow for a better and more stable online connection for MLB The Show 22. And gameplay, everybody always has their thoughts on gameplay. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are mixed. Kind of in the mixed camp this year. Things are alright, things are bad. It's alright. Content felt a little jumbled this year. Like it wasn't pushed out in a appropriate manner. It was good. I think they could have just spread it out a little bit more, I would say, because we're essentially done at this point. There's a couple more cards to be released. But yeah, I think they could have done a bit better job on that. Otherwise, it was good. Back to news updates. So last year was a first of its kind in which I really sure hope does not start to be a trend for San Diego studios going forward. And that is they announced their game on February 1st. The game released on April 16th of 2021, so about 2 months, give or take. That's the actual launch date, not early access, which I think was on like the 10th or something of April, which I don't like. Do not be 2K, which gives 4 to 5 weeks approximately of what you have any idea of what the game is, and then they just expect you to shell out money, because they know you will, for one, because you're a basketball fan, and that's the only game on the market. They have a monopoly, a stranglehold over that company of NBA simulation basketball. The same of which Major League Baseball does with MLB The Show. RBI Baseball is 1, not simulation, 2, not a competitor, so 3, not worth discussing. Going back to other announcement dates in the past, we've seen in the live service era being MLB The Show 16, December 7th, October 27th, November 6th, November 2nd, October 21st. Corresponding to approximate release dates around the beginning of the MLB season. A lot of those being, the 29th of March, the 28th of March, the earliest of which being the 13th of March. That was in 2020, and the latest obviously being on 4/16, April 16th, 2021. Now, last year I was of the camp to consider the reason why lack of news and, further lack of game coming out a month later than it did the year prior was due to the elephant in the room. COVID had a major factor on a lot of things, and it also did on the video game world. Development teams had to transition to working at home, which is going to take some time naturally. It is not going to be the same. So in regards to that, completely makes sense. But we've seen other games now be more under control with that sort of thing. And the fact that we haven't seen any announcement, which is past every date but last year, makes me believe that we're going to be in a similar situation, and they are not going to tell us anything about the game, which I think is a disservice. I do think if you announce the game, at the very least, you show the cover athlete regarding a sports game, or the cover for any game for that matter, and give a couple of bullet points, back of the box type shit that you're going to talk about later on. MLB The Show has those development streams approximately February and March. Those are the things they'll talk about then. They just give you that time to speculate on what that's going to be, which I think is only good for the game because it gives more time for more people to discuss your game before it releases. Add a little bit of foreplay before the game comes out, which is only a good thing. I also do want to point this out. This was something said in the last content stream of the year. Now, they've been a bit infrequent, again, due to the fact that they've had a transition from working to home, but it seems like they're back in the office now within the last couple streams, the last couple weeks that they've done them. Ramon had this to say.
And with that, this is our sign-off from content streams, not from content itself. There will be more. We will talk to you next year.
See you next year, which... it doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to get a cover announcement, because I think back to the previous years, we didn't have Ramon, we didn't have Luis, those guys actually giving us the announcement. It would be in the form of a trailer. So does that mean nothing? Probably, but I figured it was more worth it to show it than not. We also do know in some capacity they are working on the game. Spoiler alert. Not too much of a surprise, but we see Ben Gelman, who was a part of the, I want to say like the scouting reports that they did, that like YouTube series or, emails or whatever it was. He was part of that. And Road to the Show, he did some of the, little clips that your Road to the Show player would get alongside the year. He shows them in the studio, green screened up, so perhaps he's recording more stuff for Road to the Show. Maybe it's not going to be as malnourished this year. Maybe it's not going to be starving for nutrients of content and enjoyment like it has been the last couple years. I wasn't too big of a fan of the updates they did this last year. The two-way player and the little cutscenes they show you don't really add any immersion, in my opinion. A lot of times it would just be something to skip. If I'm playing Road to the Show, it's not something I'm too invested in. It's probably something I'm kicking back and listening to music or, watching a podcast or, whatever the case might be. I'm not going to be too zoned in on what John Smoltz or, Carlos Pena or whoever the hell has to say something on those cutscenes. Also want to give you guys an in-depth look at this cover I made if you guys are interested. Shout out to the Royals. If you go to their profile and look at their uniform teaser, that's where I got the background from. So thank you, Royals Twitter account, for helping make this cover look pretty good for Vlad Jr. So you're going to be on the cover. I don't know, it's either him or Ohtani, or maybe a brand new legend like I don't know, Joe Creedy. That'd be a cool cover. I'd buy that. If I see Joe Creedy on the cover, best believe I'm shelling out for the physical edition. I want to showcase this as well. This is from MLB The Show Card Art on Twitter. He's always around here doing a lot of really cool Really creative stuff too. That's my favorite stuff that he does. This is a concept for future stars in MLB The Show 22. Obviously, not a leak or anything, as evident by the watermarks right there. Surprising as it may seem, but these are great concepts. I think these are really good. You see O'Neal Cruz, you see Matthew Liberatore, which... Thank you for Randy Arozarena. Appreciated. Really good stuff. If you guys start to see, or if you guys want to make your own custom designs, I would be glad to see them, and maybe look at them for a YouTube video talking about what new card series or what new stuff Diamond Dynasty could have to offer. Because I have a lot of ideas, but not quite as talented artistically. So feel free to tag me in them and follow me at GomesDaLegend. But yeah, that's the overarching points I wanted to hit. News not here. When is it going to come? I don't know, but I have a slight suspicion. Again, it's probably going to come similarly next year. I don't think we're going to see anything before the new year does hit. It's going to be 2022 that we hear about MLB 22. But I do want to briefly mention something I'm going to talk about in an upcoming video regarding just how important this year truly is for MLB The Show. Now, this is possibly going to be on more consoles than just the Xbox and the PlayStation. We've heard that they want to branch out to maybe the Switch, maybe the PC. Before you cry about PC, hackers, not the case. It's not 2000. If the game is monitored whatsoever on PC, it's not going to be hacking galore. So that point gets old, having to refute it every time people say, oh, PC, there's only hackers on PC. It's going to ruin the experience. How dare you even consider that silly notion? Then Switch as well, which that's a sillier notion. That's like playing on a fucking leapfrog. So I don't know why PC gets such the bad rap, I suppose. But it's the second year in the next gen situation on the PS5, on the Xbox Series X and whatnot. This is very big. This is typically where you see some of the biggest advancements. The first year, a lot is transitioning, moving everything over from one gen to the next gen, and you don't get too much innovation. We did get Stadium Creator, but we know they've been working on that for quite some time, and they finally just had the resources to do it on the next generation consoles. So that's just a little hint of stuff that we'll talk about, give you some ideas of what a great landscape MLB 22 could be now that they have a little bit more of an idea of their hardware limitations. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about MLB 22. Give me some cover predictions. Any new game modes? This franchise is going to be worth playing for more than 5 minutes this year? Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Hope you guys have a great day. That gives them out. Yeet.